So I'm trying to figure out what in the world was going on in Sucker Punch's head when right after they released probably their most notable game of all time, Ghost of Tsushima. You can see my Ghost of Tsushima mask back there. I'm very passionate about this. But why in the world they would go and hire Bioware writers who oversaw or at least wrote on two massive failures. So in order to try and figure out what in the world they were thinking, I think we dive into the history of the writing of these writers that are announced on Ghost of Yotei, because to be perfectly honest, this really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So moving over here to the IMDb of Ghost of Yotei, you can see the writers here, John Dombrow and Courtney Woods. And a lot of people are kind of freaking out a little bit. So going over to John Dombrow's IMDb page really quickly, I'll scroll back up here to the top so you can see. Going over here, we scroll down and it looks like they were a writer on Dragon Age the Veilguard, which we know how that went. They were a writer on Anthem. They were a writer on Mass Effect Andromeda, which again, three massive failures. Even before Dragon Age Veilguard enters the equation at all, they had to have known Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda were just not good. We also go back here to Game of Thrones, a Telltale series, which the Telltale games are, they're those games if you're into them. Bioshock Infinite. Okay, so all right, so he was a contributing writer, but he was uncredited here. He worked on Mass Effect 3 back in the old days, so he might have some street cred there. Mass Effect 2, it looks like he was a writer on, so it looks like he was a BioWare writer even back when BioWare was lauded for some of their high praise stuff. And then going back doing some screenplay things here. But again, what worries me is the recent history, being a lead writer on Mass Effect Andromeda. Okay, because up to that point, he was just a writer. He takes over the lead on Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda was definitely not it for BioWare. And then Anthem, he's just back to a writer. And then Veilguard, he's just back to a writer. So this is all very interesting. Going over to Courtney Woods here, all right, her stuff, and I'll scroll up to the top here. You can see Courtney Woods, Mass Effect Andromeda, and Anthem. So again, more BioWare writers. Dragon Age the Veilguard, obviously, that didn't enter the equation yet because Dragon Age the Veilguard hadn't come out yet. People hadn't seen how that thing was. But Anthem here, we know, not good. Mass Effect Andromeda, we know, not good. Star Wars The Old Republic, Knights of the Fallen Empire. Star Wars The Old Republic, I mean, the fact that it's got an 8.4 here, that game just had a whole bunch of problems. I played Star Wars The Old Republic back in the day. Like, it was not... We don't want to talk about that. I actually bounced before this Knights of the Fallen Empire came. I can't believe it went that long. Holy crap. I just learned a new thing today. I bounced out of the Old Republic a long time ago. Dragon Age, Inquisition, The Descent. Okay, so she worked on something that was middling, but again, not a good score. And then Dragon Age Inquisition. There were writers there. Why? I mean, unless they have a super awesome lead writer that's going to wrangle these guys together, I just don't see what the business decision here was from Sucker Punch or Sony. More likely it was probably Sony, because if you go over here to Ghost of Tsushima, all right, you've got Ian Ryan, Liz Albee, and Patrick Downs. So let's look at their credits real quick. So as you can see, Ian Ryan, and moving down over here, we've got Ghost of Tsushima, the old Star Wars The Old Republic, Knights of the Eternal Throne. Okay, so there we go. Far Cry, Star Wars The Old Republic, Knights of the Fallen Empire. Wait a minute. Whoa, okay. Hold on. That's the same game that Courtney Woods worked on. Wait a minute. Okay, so that's the first... Okay, wait, hold on here. Wait, did I miss John? Did John work on? No, Mass Effect. Most of his stuff was Mass Effect. Okay, wait a minute. So we might know why Courtney Woods got a job here. And that's because it looks like she probably worked with Ian Ryan on Knights of the Fallen Empire. So there's probably somebody speaking up for this lady saying, hey, she might do a good job. So it's still concerning. And it's more looking like some sort of nepotism here, or I don't know, whatever. Okay, Thief. I've heard great things about Thief. I'm not sure how it got a 6.6, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong there. Interesting. Star Wars The Old Republic. Obviously, I played that. So this guy here. Okay, Liz Albee. All right. Looks like she is, where's her? Okay, so her previous Watchdog Legions, Ghost of Tsushima, Far Cry 5, Far Cry 4, and Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, which most of the people that I know said that anything that had to do with assassins in that game kind of sucked, but pirates. So everybody was happy. Let's go over to Patrick Downs real quick. Patrick Downs over here. I mean, looking at this here, I'm not saying, I mean, Just Cause 3, Halo 5 Guardians, which Halo 5 was, that was a mistake. How the hell did Ghost of Tsushima come out so damn good then? I'm very confused at this point. So I can see at least one person that worked on a game with another person that probably got a good word, but from what I'm seeing here, I still don't understand the business decision. This is absolutely terrifying for Ghost of Yotei. To see Bioware Writers associated with this is not a good thing. Even at the time that they made the hiring decision, Bioware was not making good decisions with their games. See Anthem, see Mass Effect Andromeda. Bioware was already on the downhill at that time. And these guys came out swinging, made probably their best game that a lot of people would consider Ghost of Tsushima to be Sucker Punch's best game that they had ever made. And they decided to hire writers from a studio in 2020. I'm assuming that's when they were doing the hiring, because that's right after the release of Ghost of Tsushima. From a studio that was doing badly. This doesn't make any sense. I don't understand the hiring decisions here. Like, unless this was a Sony corporate thing and they were like, no, you've got to have these kind of criteria, blah, blah, blah. Like, Ghost of Yotei at this point threw up some serious red flags for me. Because the 3 games that these guys worked on sucked. Like, 3 games previous sucked. The one game that the guy was a lead writer on, which was Andromeda, the people don't think that Mass Effect is going to come back from that. So the question is, why did they make this hiring decision? Why not use the same writers that they already had? Hey, you guys did a good job. The writing was good. Why not use your same writer? Unless they're still there and for some reason they're just not being credited on the IMDb page. This might have to be something where we have to wait and see what comes out closer to release. Because as of right now, my faith in this game is dwindling a lot. And I just don't trust that Sucker Punch is going to deliver on a good story anymore. I think visually, they're probably going to deliver, and I think they're going to deliver on the gameplay side of it. But if they don't get the trifecta there, right, which is the visuals, the story, and again, it's not going to go over well. I was so unbelievably impressed by this game. You guys can go back all the way to 2020 and you can see the review that my buddy and I left on the first Ghost of Tsushima game. Here's the funny part. I went on to play another 200 hours of Ghost of Tsushima after we did our initial review, because I was just enamored with it. I got my wife into it. My wife and I started playing multiplayer together. And the multiplayer was actually really fun as well. So this has me extremely worried for the future of a franchise that I thought was going to be really good. I even did a video when everybody was calling out that Ghost of Yotei was just another DEI game and it's going to get... And I was like, no, it's not. Like, we have no evidence for that. probably going to eat crow on this one. I still think those people were probably wrong to say it that early, but at this point, there is evidence leaning that this is going to be another game that is pushing a social message instead of fun gameplay and a gameplay story. So we're going to have to see here. Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm going to need to see evidence that this game is actually pushing a social message, because the first one didn't. The first one was really good. But as of right now, I think I was wrong in my in that first video. Well, no, because I said we got to sit and wait. What do you guys think? Is Ghost of Yotei going to be another Dragon Age the Veilguard? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, let me know, was I stupid for getting excited for a game? I feel stupid for getting excited for a game, right? Maybe because I played Palworld last year, Space Marines 2, I played Path of Exile 2, and I fucking love those games. Hundreds of hours. And, well, not Space Marine 2, because me and my buddy are playing that together. So, but that's a really fun game to sit down with your buddies. And I was just enamored by the visuals and just how the game played. I love that game. Hundreds of hours in Path of Exile 2. Hundreds of hours in Palworld. And I was like, man, maybe gaming. Maybe it's on its way back. So let me know. Was I stupid down below? Am I dumb? Do I deserve to eat the crow on this one? Because I just had some faith. I had some hope. Let me know down below. I probably deserve the lambasting I'm about to get. Thank you all so much for checking out A Drink with Crazy. I got some merch down below. And as always, until next time, cheers, everybody.